Well,
For Christ's sake. And then, guilty, but I hate this guilty by association. So now, okay, obviously you have a problem with what Sick Boy did, so now you instantly hate us because he's in the studio?
Wait, not Sick Boy. No, a writer on his site. It wasn't even Sick Boy that posted that.
All right, so it's a writer on Sick Boy's site, so then immediately, somehow, he should hate us as well.
Right.
Exactly. Well,
that makes a lot of sense. Why don't you start doing some background checks on all the people that are around you, Rock? You might be very surprised.
Well, again, he had all of the previous evening to be briefed about this and didn't do any more research other than whatever information they gave him, and then just walked in here and didn't mention it beforehand until he was introduced to Sick,
Right.
And that wasn't cool.
Right.
That wasn't cool, and he didn't handle himself very well. Poor form on his part.
Well, if you didn't want to get into it on the air, well, we did go right to commercials.
Yeah.
And I didn't even looked at him hey.
I was like, hey, I wanted to see if he was going to shake my hand or something.
But he just turned around and
gave me that look and turned around and walked out. It's like, man, and that kind of pisses me off because, what, you're looking at me like, sorry, I cursed. Looking at me like I'm Mr. F and KKK or something?
Yeah, I know.
That pisses me off.
It was a temper tantrum. It was a temper tantrum, however you want to look at it. But, it's, you broke my toys. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's childish. That's childish. And it's a shame it had to happen live and that the guy couldn't handle himself a little bit better.
Well, I don't mind that it happened live. It was interesting radio, to say the least. I mean, no one turned off the radio yesterday.
Oh, I'm quite sure that's the case.
I don't enjoy being in those situations, but it makes for a good listen when you're in your car.
No, that was definitely the most awkward silence I have ever been a part of.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to think as quick as possible to come up with, something.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was just so shocked because this came out of left field. I'm like, my famous line, what happened? I thought we were all just having fun here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then poof.
You're total deer in the headlights.
Right.
Well, oh my God, I just got hit.
Right. And I had nothing to do with it. And you were on the Opie and Anthony show. You weren't on the Sick Boy show. You weren't on a wrestling site show, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're on our show, and God damn it, we had nothing to do with it.
And that's what sucks about the whole situation is that the guy didn't want to listen.
Right.
The guy didn't want to be apologized to. He wanted to have his temper tantrum, and
I looked at him right in the eye. I said, "Dude, I had no freaking idea. No idea." So.
Didn't seem that there was much getting through to this guy.
But a good posting on your unofficial website about it. Very good, Steve.
No
and the
problem.
truth of the matter is, even if we did have an idea of what was on that site, it still doesn't matter.
Right.
It still doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Well, because you read something offensive on a website, then you're responsible for it? Or you should have to be held accountable for it?
Well, unfortunately, there is some degree of responsibility one must take when you go into this thing. Understandably, Sick didn't write it, but it's like if one of the writers on the unofficial site, and they're all great guys, Frank, Joe, Josh, if one of them all of a sudden started spewing forth racially incentive remarks, people are going to start looking at me.
Right.
And asking me, why the F are you letting this guy write for this site?
And then he wanted us to pretty much sell Sick Boy down the river. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that to anyone that helps out our radio show. Especially before we get all the facts and look into it.
If you've been to the site, it is satire.
Yeah.
It is politically incorrect satire and commentary on wrestling and other stuff that goes on in the world.
And on the top of that very post, the author even wrote, this is a mock. This is not real. This is not to be taken seriously by whoever's reading it.
Was it distasteful? Yeah. Was it politically incorrect? Yeah. Sure. But you know something? So what? It was a little comedic thing that he threw together. And why can't you put racial stereotypes in comedy and not be lambasted for it? If The Rock doesn't agree with it, fine. He doesn't have to read it. But then what's he going to just disassociate himself with anyone who's even read the site?
Well,
it's ridiculous.
I didn't even read the site.
Yeah, Hope didn't even read it.
That's what blows me away. He has every right to be pissed off, but he's attacking the wrong people, first of all. He walked off our show.
It's interesting when you look at racial stereotypes, and some comics do get away with it, some comics don't.
Yeah.
Hey,
the ones that do that Apollo Theater show.
Oh, yes.
And let's make it clear. I mean, we stereotype on the show, definitely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sure.
So,
because that's a part of comedy. It has been for many, many years. So wasn't The Rock part of the Nation of Domination? Remember that? I remember that. He had that, and the guy that is the Godfather now was in there, and D-Lo, and they were it was like a white-hating black supremacist group.
Why is it okay in that regard?
Yeah. I mean, Rock was part of that. He got in a battle with DX, and they all got in blackface, went into the ring, and started imitating the Nation of Domination in blackface. Doing like stereotypical black lingo and walking and talking. The Rock was drawing a paycheck on that, so I guess that didn't upset him that much.
The more I think about it, the more hypocritical this guy seems.
Yeah, with like 24 hours or so to mull this over, it's like, wow,
exactly.
man, it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
Exactly. Well, you know, at the time, you're stunned. You feel like you just got hit upside the head with a baseball bat. It's hard to think of all this stuff.
And you know what? We don't want to sound like pussies today. You know, I'm going to say it again. If The Rock wants to discuss this further, we're here. I'll do it face to face. I don't care.
It's a very smart thing to say.
No, it's the truth, though, and he's still in the area. It's not like he had to fly anywhere else. He's doing another book signing somewhere today. I know where, but I'm not going to give him any more publicity. Screw him.
Sure.
He's not a man. He didn't want to discuss this off mic. Screw you. Jackass. Man to man, I told you I had no freaking clue. And like a baby, you had to walk off the show.
Well, look, if you want the full story, check out the little snippet I wrote on the FoundryMusic.com site.
All right. Well, we're gonna. If we have time, we're definitely gonna, replay the uncomfortable moment from yesterday.
Like if you do, I'll call sick and try to make sure he's not listening.
Honestly, Rick was listening to it in the office. I couldn't even listen. I was like, turn it off. He kind of made us look kind of stupid.
Yeah, you know. It's just uncomfortable. It's awkward silence. It's a lot of people going,
Right.
Yeah, well, you're trying to, get your thoughts together as the mics are on, And
exactly.
then when you're blindsided like that.
Of course.
And then you quickly realize, you can't say anything. This guy's not going to listen to anything.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
And what were you going to do about it? Nothing.
There you go. Well, thank you, Steve.
Not a problem, man.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
You got it.
Bye.
Bye.
How pompous.
Huh?
How pompous, too. What the hell walk in here? What did people think? He thinks people want to hear Dwayne Johnson? They want to hear The Rock.
Dave.
What's up, O&A?
How are you?
I think I came to the conclusion why The Rock kind of flipped out on you guys.
Yeah.
Well, because I taped it for my friend, and I kind of went back to it, and I listened to it, and when Sick Boy asked that question to The Rock, and The Rock said, before I answer that, I got some questions about your website.
Yeah.
And all you guys were like, oh, no, kind of like saying, like, oh, no, he's in trouble now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, just because but we had no idea he was bringing up that.
Yeah, you know what? Like, 'cause if I was The Rock, I'd probably think to myself, I go, oh, they probably know what's on the site because they're saying that.
No.
And he's probably thinking, oh, yeah, these guys are in it too.
It was more
that
them, we know Sick Boy has an edge to him. That's all I was thinking when we had that reaction.
Well, I still think it's kind of dick on The Rock's, side. He's a hypocrite.
All right, man.
Okay, man?
Thanks, Dave.
You guys are great.
All right.
Later.
Bye. James, what's going on?
Hey, Open Air, it's Jamie the bus driver. Listen, man, I was dying to get in last night to call. It was too late. And that's been on my mind just as it's been on yours, and I'm not even part of the show. First of all, I want to say I'm not a racist. I'm an Italian guy. I'm married to a Puerto Rican. We have kids. Okay, but The Rock was way off, number one. I mean, he should no way have laid into you guys by any way, shape, or form. That's number one. Number two, this is not a political forum show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a comedy show. And whatever stuff that's written on that page, like you said, you kind of stole my thunder about the satire and stuff like that. It's satire. It's all as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And it pissed me off to listen to him get all twisted.
Right.
And I bet you he laughed his ass off while Chris Rock was calling the Backstreet Boys crackers with attitude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or whenever he listened to Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy joke about Asian people.
Or watching the Godfather do one of his skits.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, let's face it.
Yeah. There's no way there's no way he could have took that stance. He had other issues, that dude. And by him taking it on you guys was wrong.
Right.
And, I got a little bone to pick, though. It seemed like you guys did a little bit of backpedaling. You should have stood, I thought maybe you should have stood a little firm and saying, dude,
James,
we didn't read the site. We didn't know what was on it, but it's a joke.
James, you'll hear for yourself. We didn't backpedal. I think what you hear...
I didn't,
when you hear the tape again, maybe later on, if we have time, is that we were just in complete shock.
It was an ambush, no doubt. It was definitely an ambush.
Because we were really having a good time with it.
Yeah, I know. I was enjoying it. I was on the road enjoying it.
We were hoping he was going to be more of the Rock, because honestly, he has really nothing to say as Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I agree.
What the hell is he going to say as Dwayne Johnson?
I agree. Guys, I'm in defense of you all the way. You got a great show. It's a funny show. And people listening from WWF,
right.
If you're listening in, it's a comedy show, people. Wake up.
All right. Thank you, James.
Okay.
All right, bye.